Disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use, tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys, barf bag ready? I know I've covered this before, but I feel like I should cover it again. This is from the Scientology Handbook, Tools for Life. Imagine a man who thinks that it's okay to kiss a 7-year-old girl on the lips, and that little girl will remember all of her sexual experiences from previous lives, and that the 7-year-old girl should not flinch when a grown man kisses her on the lips. This is the pervert that people are following. This is the pervert that numerous police forces don't have a problem taking money from this organization, while all these children are slaving away, which is illegal. And yet, no one is applying the law to Scientology or the Scientologists. Lawlessness. So from the Scientology Handbook, allowing children to work, because, children should work and the adults should sit on their butts, right? Because children are adults in small bodies, LAPD. The basic difficulty with all juvenile delinquency is a one-time apparently humane program of forbidding children to labor in any way. Look at L. Ron Hubbard. Did he look like he ever labored in his life? Doubtless, it was once a fact that child labor was abused. Yeah, like you do, Hubbard. That children were worked too hard, like you do, L. Ron Hubbard. That their growths were stunted, and that they were, in general, used, like you, L. Ron Hubbard. It is highly doubtful if the infamous Mr. Marx ever saw in America young boys being pulled off machines, dead from work, and thrown onto dump heaps. Being a little dramatic, aren't we, Hubbard? Sounds like a sacrifice, doesn't it? Where there was an abuse of this matter, there was a public outcry against it. But also think about how many people were fine with that. You know what I mean? And legislation was enacted to prevent children from working. Oh, I bet that just boils your buns, doesn't it? This legislation, with all the good intention of the world, is, however, directly responsible for juvenile delinquency. Well, you got to have a reason to work the children, right? Juvenile delinquency is the reason that Scientology is working the children. What is that drug-free America program that Scientology pushes on LAPD so hard? And all it would do is just a little research, and the LAPD would see exactly what the children go through. But apparently they don't seem to care. It's like too much work for them, Forbidding children to work, and particularly forbidding teenagers to make their own way in the world and earn their own money. Because, their parents don't need to work. Why would the parents work when you can make the children do all of it? Creates a family difficulty. Yeah, you would know, wouldn't you, LRH? So that it becomes almost impossible to raise a family. Did LRH even actually raise his family? Wakey, wakey. And creates as well, and particularly a state of mind in the teenager, that the world does not want him. Oh yeah, and telling them that they're banky and enturbulated and that they're out ethics. That would make a child feel wanted, right? And he has already lost his game before he has begun it. Then with something like universal military training, staring him in the face so that he dare not start a career, he is of course thrust into a deep subapathy, state of disinterest below apathy. Oh, like you, LRH? Is that why you were taking all those drugs? I read the other day all those drugs you were taking. You had a lot of drugs. You had a cabinet full of drugs. You must have been subapathy. That's why you're taking all those drugs, right? And your son did mention that you were involved in drug trafficking. That's on record. On the subject of work, and when he at length is faced with the necessity of making his own way in the world. Yeah, because, parents don't need to take care of their children, do they? He rises into an apathy and does nothing about it at all. You know what he's going for, you guys? He's building up to the production. Go watch the movie Metropolis. I'm telling you. You watch Metropolis, you're going to see. But, I'm paranoid, right? It is highly supportive of this fact that our greatest citizens worked. Did they now? LRH, you never worked. Usually when they were quite young. Oh, really? In the Anglo-American civilization, yeah, the Anglos that they've made up. The highest level of endeavor was achieved by boys. Really? From the age of 12 on farms. Really now? Had their own duties, yeah, like you did, and had a definite place in the world. Oh, like being a child? Like being a child and sitting at home when your mother cooks dinner? Like that? Or wait, are you working on inverting everything that's natural? Because that's what you sick Fs do, right? You invert everything that is the natural order. Children in the main are quite willing to work. Are they? Really, Hubbard? Do tell. Do tell. A 2, 3, 4-year-old child is usually found haunting his father, haunting, or her mother, trying to help out either with tools or dust rags. Really? They're not out playing in the woods? They're not playing jump rope or playing tag or kick the can, how they did back in the day. And the kind parent, really the kind parent, he's building people up here. Kind parent who is really fond of the children responds as the reasonable and long ago normal manner of being patient enough to let the child actually assist. Really? So why do the work yourself? Make your 4-year-old do it, right? Labor laws, anyone? A child so permitted, because they're children are like property. That's why he's saying so permitted. Then develops the idea that his presence in activity is desired. He's building up for the conditional love, you see. How many children of Scientologists have we heard about this conditional love, which is very narcissistic in nature, by the way? Is desired, and he quite clearly, calmly, sets about a career of accomplishment. Yeah, because all 3-year-olds need a career, right? The child who is warped or pressed into some career, but is not permitted to assist in those early years, is convinced that he is not wanted. Oh, it's not when you tell him he's out ethics, or that he's committing treason, or that he's not allowed to ask questions. It's not that. that the world has no part of him, really. And later on, he will come into very definite difficulties regarding work. Right. However, the child who at 3 or 4 wants to work in this modern society is discouraged and is actually prevented from working. And after he is made to be idle until 7, 8, or 9, he is suddenly saddled with certain chores. Now this child is already educated into the fact that he must not work, and so the idea of work is a sphere where he knows. Imagine this rubbish he talks. People follow this moron who likes little girls. Knows he does not belong, and so he always feels uncomfortable in performing various activities. Oh, maybe when he's in the RPF, he's uncomfortable, right? Later on in his teens, he is actively prevented from getting the sort of job which will permit him to buy the clothes and treats for his friends, which he feels are demanded of him. He can't get the money from his parents? And so he begins to feel he's not part of the society. You mean the Brave New World? You mean the Brave New World, right? Not being part of the society, he is then against the society and desires nothing but destructive activities. Anyone who buys this, I don't know. I'll leave the link in the description box, like and subscribe if you choose. Hopefully I keep my voice today, because acid reflux is going crazy since my chemo the other day. Peace.